it's rolling.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I absolutely love talking to teams, like sports teams and such, because that's where I come from. When I was an All-American kid growing up, and that's how I stayed out of trouble, was playing sports. And we moved around so much as a kid. Like, I have moved and lived. I've lived in more cities than I've graduated grades before starting college. And that's how we made friends. Right? That was the common ground that my brother and I established. Got one brother, 13 months younger, so we're almost Siamese twins. And but I love talking to sports teams and such. And so if you guys think this might be helpful for your team, what I'm about to drop some motivation game on you guys, I would love to come and talk to your team. So real quick, what kind of sports are we playing with here today? I know we got was it David with soccer, right?
Yeah.
And then Paige is softball.
Yes.
Yeah. What else we got? What other sports?
Play golf.
Golf?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. I'm going to be playing in a scramble this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yes. What else?
I play tennis.
Tennis? Okay, I don't want to talk to you. No, I'm just kidding.
He says no.
Who else is playing some game?
I play volleyball.
Volleyball? Sweet.
I play softball with Paige.
Softball with Paige? Okay, who's better? I'm just kidding. Ooh, competition. And competition's cool, but I like to dominate. And that way we don't really have competition. And that's kind of what I want to share with you guys today. These methods that through the hustle and struggle of life that have taught me and I've learned that have allowed me to achieve levels of success that no one would have ever thought possible given what happened. So do you guys like to win?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. I like to win too. And how about superheroes? Do you guys like superheroes?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a society and individuals, we love superheroes, whether you like to admit it or not. And that's why movies like Spider-Man and Batman are so popular. But the interesting thing about Batman, right, is he is just a man. The difference between Bruce Wayne, Batman, and the people that he saves, though, is that Batman decided to live his life by a code. Now, I don't sleep upside down. I don't do anything like that. But I have decided to live my own life by a code. I, too, became a superhero. I became a phoenix, right? And if you don't know, a phoenix is about rising up, right? Doing something better, something greater. And rising up from the ashes. I had a pile of ashes to rise up from. So that's what I want to share with you guys today. Batman lives his life by a code. I live by the Phoenix Code. So before we get into that, let's establish a baseline. Imagine a superhero, your favorite superhero. Whatever the opposite is of what you just imagined is exactly what I felt like waking up with my jaw wired shut, a broken back, bone literally sticking out of my face. I had a brain infection that's killing me, and then I wake up after a horrific auto accident. I wake up in the hospital totally blind. Just like right now, no light, no nothing, it's just blackness. Every day I wake up and I'm staring into blackness. That's how I wake up. Eventually I get out of the hospital, I'm recovering back at my parents' house, and I'm incredibly anxious about my life, hugely depressed, because I can't stop thinking about what my life could have been, what it should have been, and now what it never will be. I have piles of medication to get through, 6 hours of IV meds every single day, so I don't really sleep much, and I'm Skeletor. Like, I looked like how I look now before the accident, but then I was 127 pounds. I could barely even hold myself up, and I'm sitting in the kitchen, hunched over, listening to my mom cook dinner. My dad gets home, and he sees that something's wrong. Right? And like he always does, because I'm hunched over, I'm Skeletor, like he always does when he comes around the corner and sees me like that, he'll say, "Chin up." And I don't respond. Not today. Because today, I just want to die. Everything is building up. I feel like that I just want it to be over. So he knows that something's wrong. He can see it in me, right? I don't respond, and he comes over and he puts his hand on my knee. And he says, Tanner, what's wrong? What can I do to help? Help? I mean, there's nothing you can do to help. My life is over. My life is meaningless. Dad, my life's worthless. There's nothing you can do to help. He says, son, I know it's tough right now. For you, it's always going to be tough. And I don't understand what it means to be blind. Totally blind. But I do know that you could be blind and you could be in a wheelchair. As a matter of fact, you should be. You could be blind in a wheelchair, and mentally, you should be a vegetable. Tan, you should be dead. I don't understand what it means to be blind, but let me tell you something. I know it's tough right now, but it could always be worse. It could always be worse? I mean, that might sound like my dad was kicking me when I'm down. But it was actually exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. And that mindset, that perception of life, that no matter what you're going through right now, it could always be worse. This is the first step. It's the foundation for living your life by the Phoenix Code. That mindset, right then and there, helped me realize I still have my hands and my feet. I mean, I can walk, I can talk, I can think, articulate, communicate this message, this idea. You know, it's interesting that I would have to first lose my sight before I'd be able to look inside myself. See who I really am. See my value, my potential. Potential's funny though. I mean, it's kind of interesting because no matter how much potential I might have or anyone has, it means absolutely nothing. Potential's worthless, useless. It means nothing without massive action pushing it. And here we are at the second step of living by the Phoenix Code. 1, know that it can always be worse. And 2, you better take some massive action right now. So I figure that, you know, maybe a good thing like you guys, I figured that a good thing for me is probably to go to school. Now, to frame this context, I don't know how I'm going to do that, right? Like, I'm totally blind. I'm recently blind. I don't really have computer skills. I don't even know how to turn it on. I can't find the button. And I don't know how I'm going to get to school. I don't know how I'm going to take notes. I don't know how I'm going to take the test. But I do it anyway. I enroll into school because I know, the thing that I do know, is that through action, through doing it, I will figure it out along the way. So I enroll into school, and after that semester, I figured that I should probably figure it out how to live life independently as a blind man. And so I do that, and 4 months later, I signed the lease on my first place, and within 15 months of me initially getting out of the hospital, Memorial Day weekend, 2004, that's when I got out. 15 months later, I'm living on my own, and I'm going to school full time. Know it can always be worse, and take massive action despite it. Then I figure I should probably do some more, because I'm looking at my bank account and there's a lot of zeros in it, just no numbers in front of those zeros. And so, and being blind and broke is it could always be worse, right? So I start to go to work, and so now I'm working full time. I'm going to school full time. I'm living independently. I have very little time, and the one thing that I like to do at the end of my 15-hour day is I like to watch The Tonight Show. And so if everything works out just right, I get off work on time, because sometimes you don't. My ride picks me up on time, the disability paratransit, and we hit all the green lights, and I get home, and when I step into the house, I drop my backpack because I just came from school and work, and I turn on the TV, and The Tonight Show's already started. But this one night, it was May, this one night in May, it's the end of the semester, right? Everything's super stressful. I turn on the television and the news is on. The news is on. And this is incredibly special. It just sounds like the news, right? But this is the one night that God, that the universe has brought me home, that has parted the seas so that I can see the news. The one night, the one story that I would hear, and it would change my life forever. It's incredibly important for me to be here this day. And so I turn on the television, right? The news broadcaster comes on and he says, "Now here's a team who doesn't let anything come between them and the game they love to play." And I'm thinking, what the hell? But that's when I heard the sound that would change my life forever. This looks a lot like a softball, but it's so much more than that. This is baseball for the blind. The one night I would hear the one story that would change my life forever. See, to put this in context for you, rewind back to when I'm recovering at my parents' house. I'm looking for something, I'm digging around my closet, I don't even remember what it was, and that's not important, but my fingers come across this piece of leather, and curiosity gets the best of me. I rip it out, I know exactly what it is. All these memories from my childhood come flooding back, because it's my old baseball glove. And I put it on, I can't help myself, I catch the ball, I curl up, I throw the guy out at home plate. It was the same play that I made thousands of times as a child. But this was a moment of reflection for me. This was a time where I'm coming to terms with the situation in which I find myself. I know that it could always be worse, right? And I'm taking massive action despite it, steps 1 and 2. But I tell myself, game over. That part of your life is over. And little did I know that 4 years later, I would hear the sound that would change my life forever. Give me back the game that I thought I lost forever. And just because it means so much to me, it means, I can't tell you how much it means to me. If you guys don't mind, for the rest of the talk, for like the next 30 minutes or so, I'm just gonna leave this on. It even gets annoying when you're playing the game.
Your dog will mind.
She loves the ball.
Yeah,
she
it
loves
gets her
the ball.
attention.
So, massive action, right? The very next weekend, I see the story, right? The news story. It's like the one night that I would see the news story. In life, let me tell you something right now. In life, we see signs. We see them all the time. And there's two types of people, right? When we see these signs, I don't believe in coincidences, okay? Things happen for a reason, right? A lot of things brought me to this moment. Like, one, I'm alive, right? Two, my entire life playing ball, right? Coincidences just don't happen. But there's two types of people, right? There's the person who sees the sign and pulls the trigger. They take action and they move forward. And then there's that other person who saw the sign, does nothing, and then will always wonder and regret what could have happened, what might have happened. Old people are filled with regret, and they never regret what they did do. I mean, maybe some do, like some people sitting in jail, right? But old people really regret what they didn't do because they were too scared or they were too fearful. They saw the sign and they didn't take action. Please, when you see that sign and you feel it in your gut, you better go towards it. So the very next weekend, I step out onto the field. It was Mansfield Park near downtown Tucson. And I step out to the field and I'm swinging and hitting and I'm swinging and hitting. I know, Paige, you see those hips, right? That's right. It's through the ground, from the ground up. So, and I'm hitting the ball and the pitcher's like, Tanner, that's great. I mean, yeah, you're swinging, you're hitting. That's awesome. But now you got to score. You got to touch the base. I'm like, fear floods over me. Right? I mean, I haven't ran blind before. Like, I can't see anything. Like, what if I trip? What if I fall? What if I get hurt? I mean, what if I fail? Right? That's why we don't pull the trigger. What if I fail? Everybody's going to make fun of me. I know that I'm not the only person in here. I know I'm not the only one who's let fear prevent me from moving forward in my life. This is the third step in living by the Phoenix Code. The only way to face your fears and then beat them, face your fear and beat them, is through reps. Reps. Repetitions. And it's going to suck at first. It always does, but it gets better. That's how you face them. That's how you beat them. And so the first time I jogged. The second time I ran a little faster. The third time even faster. But by the fourth rep, I'm running as fast as I possibly can. I'm not just touching the base. They think I'm one of the fastest in the league. Reps. Beat Baseball has brought so many successes in my life, has fulfilled me in so many different ways, and it would have never have happened if I didn't pull the trigger, right? If I didn't face my fears and do the reps. This coach, this adaptive sports coach, found out about me and my success in Beat Baseball, and he comes up and he says, man, Tanner, I mean, Beat Baseball is so cool. I know you hit the ball so hard. But let me ask you something. Have you ever thought about throwing the javelin? I laughed right in that man's face. But no, I can't say that I've ever thought about throwing spears. A blind guy throwing spears, but I'll try anything, right? Maybe that was a sign. So if you know anything about the javelin, if you guys got friends that do track and field, you know it's incredibly stressful on the shoulder, incredibly stressful on the back, and with my back being previously broken, I put that idea down, right? But putting that down, letting go of that, it allowed me to pick this new idea up, And that was, if they let blind guys throw spears, what else can we do? I saw that sign and I decided right then and there, I will be a U.S. Paralympian. This brings us to the fourth step in living by the code. No, it can always be worse. Take massive action, reps. That's how you get through the fear. That's how you face it and beat it. But for mountainous goals, huge goals and achievements, like getting to an international sports stage, right? Or any huge goal that you have in your life, it takes living by the fourth step, the next step, which is you can succeed and achieve in whatever it is that you want in life, but you must do whatever it takes. And it will demand, literally, whatever it takes. And so everything is focused on me becoming a Paralympian. I can't go to school, I can't go to work. Everything is focused on becoming a Paralympian. That's nutrition, training, recovery, meditation, visualization. Everything is focused on becoming a Paralympian. So starting January 2011, I wake up in Tucson, Arizona. I get up at 4:30 in the morning on Saturdays. I race across town to get the 5 a.m. Greyhound bus, go up to Phoenix to the nearest adaptive track club, Arizona Disabled Sports, and I practice for 2 hours. I get the bus back home at noon, 2 hours back home, and I put in about 10 hours of work for 2 hours of practice, because that's what it takes. Every other day is also focused on becoming a Paralympian. Like I said, training, recovery, nutrition, meditation, visualization. And so when the dust settled on my 2011 track season, May 4, 2011, that's my first track meet. I qualify for the national championships. At nationals in June, I become a professional athlete. I make the U.S. national track team. In November of that year, at my first international event, the Pan America Games, I bring home an international gold medal, plus I'm ranked 4th in the world in the long jump, because I'm doing whatever it takes. The cherry on top, for the first year, for the first time, I'm the 2011 Beep Baseball World Series MVP. I'm on my way. It's just me though in Tucson. I don't really have a coach, and that's why I love you guys so much in here, because you guys are in this classroom, because this is one of the things that's going to help you take it to the next level, right? Understanding how your body performs, understanding how to take it to the next level, lining up all the blocks so that there's no stone unturned. There's no opportunity for performance lost. I know that I got to get out of Tucson. I've got to live at the Olympic Training Center in San Diego, Chula Vista, right? I know that's where I'll get the coaching. That's where there's the state-of-the-art weight room. I'll get sports med, I'll get the nutrition, I'll get everything that I need. Plus, I mean, being surrounded, like everybody in this room, surrounded with like-minded individuals. Feeling pretty confident. International gold medalist, 4th in the world. I put in my application. Quickly, I'm denied. Maybe I just need to talk to the director of high performance. You know, I'll have a meeting with her. I'm going to convince her. I'm going to show her my passion, the fire that's burning inside of me, that I'm willing, more than willing, to do whatever it takes. And she will see that. I know she's going to give me a bed, and I got that meeting. And she told me right to my face, Tanner, I'm giving the bed to another athlete. I've been turned down in person, been turned down on paper. The 2012 track season's coming to a close. It's May 2012. But I can't let go. I just know in the bottom of my heart that I will do whatever it takes. And And so during my athlete visualization practice, I'm seeing myself at the Olympic Training Center. I've just been denied every which way. I'm seeing myself at the Olympic Training Center. I'm seeing myself on the track, getting the coaching in the weight room, at SportsMed, lying in the bed that I want to be lying in. And that's when it hit me. I'm just going to show up. I'm going to move to San Diego. They won't give me a bed. I'll show up to the track, I'll get the coaching, I'll surround myself with the people that I know I need to take it to the next level. I'm just going to make my bed somewhere else. Man, May is something important in my life, man. Last weekend in May, 8 years after getting out of the hospital, I moved to San Diego, and 5 days later, Thursday, we have our first track meet at the center. At that track meet, I jumped the greatest jump of my career thus far. And news gets around really quick. Friday, meetings begin. Monday, Tanner, hey, just wanted to let you know that you can go ahead and get your things together and come on down to the Olympic Training Center because we've got a bed for you now. I moved into the Olympic Training Center. I'm still on my way. September 4, 2012, 16 months to the day of my first track meet. There it is. I've got the American flag on my chest because I'm representing the United States of America in the Paralympic Games. I stand here today, a U.S. Paralympian. I stand here the superhero of my own life. But the hero's journey would not be a journey without many failures along the way, and I have had a lot of them. Before I ever found out about Beat Baseball, I started a mobile food kitchen. You know, a taco truck? That business failed. I bought and sold used cars. A blind used car salesman. That business failed. I thought that I risked my entire life savings. I moved again just for the chance to make the U.S. national ski team. I spent that money, it's gone. That failed. I thought that I could swim at a really high level, but I don't really swim as much as I just kind of sink. Got heavy bones. That's what I tell myself. I have failed more times than I care to remember. I know that you have too. And this is the 5th step in living by the Phoenix Code. Failures are going to happen. We must weather the storms, weather the failures in life, because that stuff is inevitable. Whether you're sitting on the couch or you're taking action, failure is inevitable. I failed in life, I failed in business, in school, in sport, in relationships, and even recently my podcast was kicked out of iTunes for the 2nd time. Second time. No one cares what happened to you. No one gives 2 craps. The only thing that matters is, what are you going to do about it? Weather the storms. These are the 5 fundamental tenets of the Phoenix Code. And I want to recap them with you really quick so that before we open it up to Q&A, so that we all know and understand what they are. So 1, no, it can always be worse. I mean, things happen, right? But it can always be worse. We're not in a Nazi camp, right? We're not being human trafficked or sex slave stuff. We've got it pretty good over here. No, it can always be worse, right? 2, take massive action. Doing is the new planning. Doing is the new planning. Action is your blueprint for success. 3, face your fears. The only way to beat them, the only way to beat your fears is through repetitions. Reps, reps, reps. and soon you will be a fearless superhero. 4, do whatever it takes. You can achieve and succeed in whatever it is that you want to do, but you must be committed to doing whatever it takes. In order to become the person that you deserve to be better tomorrow than you are today, you must do things you've never done before. You must go places you've never gone before. But that is what it takes to achieve whatever it is that you want. To become the person you've yet to become, the superhero inside you. And 5, weather the storms. Weather the storms, weather the failures in life. You will never truly fail. You'll never truly fail unless you decide to give up. And that's a choice. I became the superhero of my own life. I became a phoenix. Right? But this talk, I'm not here for me. This is about you, right? This is about you becoming the superhero of your own life. And so I challenge you all to live your life by the Phoenix Code, right? I became a Phoenix, but the Phoenix Code, living by these fundamental tenets, that's how you become the superhero of your own life. And I know the greatest thing about this is that it can be successfully applied into anyone's life. The Phoenix Code can be successfully applied into anyone's life. I know this eternal truth. I know it because just like Batman, I'm human, like you. So decide for you right now to start living your life by these 5 fundamental tenets and become the superhero of your own life. Become something great. Living by the Phoenix Code is just what it takes. Thank you, guys. So we getting Starbucks in here? We're gonna mainline some of this stuff.
Yeah.
No, I'm just So I know Matt wanted me to talk about some of the other opportunities, life beyond blindness, life beyond disability, especially with here in this kinesiology class. 4 years went by. 4 years went by before I ever even found out about sports for people with disabilities. I can primarily speak to blindness, but I am aware of things for individuals with wheelchairs, amputees, cerebral palsy, even cognitive disabilities, and of course blindness. There are a ton of opportunities. The University of Arizona down in Tucson is the second school to ever give scholarships to individuals with disabilities. I was telling Matt that yesterday one of the things that I do besides being a keynote speaker is I'm a success coach. And so I am working with a gym that's starting up right now. I just toured the facility for the first time and met with their team to share with them how they're going to come out of the red and into the black ASAP, which is hugely important when you're starting a business. But this gym, what is so neat about it is that they're going to be putting disabled athletes alongside Gen Pop, the general population, and using that synchronous motivation, right? That the Gen Pop clients are going to get motivation from the disabled athletes, and the disabled athletes are going to find motivation working alongside general population. One of the things, the stigmas about, it kind of goes both ways. So I just got this dog, thank goodness she's almost as good looking as I am, because that's, it's super important. The cane, I would, a couple weeks ago I'd have my white cane, and that thing is like social pestilence. When I had a guide dog about a decade ago, and I thought I was cool breeze when I had that guide dog. Like everybody wanted to talk to me. He was good looking too, and then he ended up becoming unsafe to handle for a multitude of reasons, which is why we as a general public should not be touching service animals or even paying them any attention, because it can become unsafe, and it's really, I know it doesn't seem like it, but it can become a threat to the handler's life, because if that dog makes a mistake crossing a street and a cement truck hits that person, both the dog is going to die and that person. But so I lost the dog. It became unsafe to handle AJ crossed catty corner across a street in rush hour traffic with 9 lanes of traffic. So here we are stuck in the middle of the intersection, and do you think the cars stopped? No. Like as soon as I was in the middle of the intersection, just cars going, people were honking at me, like it was my fault, you know? But it was the dog. So I lost the dog, and he retired. And then so I went back to the cane, and like no one wanted to touch it. I was like, damn. Like what's going on? Like I mean, I'm still the same dude, I promise. I might bite you. Yeah, and so you know, there's physical opportunities for individuals with disabilities. There's a lot of recreational sports too. I can't tell you, you know, after I got the wires off my jaw, I like suppressed my emotions, right? I suppressed a lot of my anxiety, my depression with food, and I can put it down. Still today, I have a buddy, Carl, 6'4", he's like 260 or so, and I'll eat him under the table. And he's like, how do you eat so much food? And I'm like, I just do it, you know. And so we're like, whatever it takes. Yeah. And so I got obese, and I was blind and I was obese, and I was at the heart doctor. They were checking up on me, and I sat on the table. I had my I was derobed, I guess, and I felt myself, like my rolls like hanging out over myself, and like I think 2 of them were touching the floor, and I was like, oh my God, like my mom was there, and I said, how did you let me get like this? And she's like what? Like that mom love, you know, like, and I was like, I'm fat. And she goes, no. I was like, come on. So and that's when I started doing lunges and walking up the stairs and sit-ups and push-ups, and I love that Dr. French was talking about some nutrition today, some macronutrients, because I did get my weight down to a much more healthier weight, but it was really until I got on my nutrition game that I took it to the next level. In high school, I was sold that idea that a 5'8" white guy with moderate genetic ability who never saw an ounce over 155 pounds in high school, that he could play in the league, right? Like that I could make it to the NFL, and so like, you know, I was so committed to football, and which I'll never let my kids play, but. I was so committed to football, but I had just like this moderate genetic ability. Like I wasn't that good, and what allowed me to become a Paralympian was all the stones that I would unturn. Like when I said like everything was wrapped around me becoming a Paralympian, I'm talking like when I wasn't training, when I wasn't eating, when I wasn't sleeping, I was studying like how can I get an extra 1%, like the hydration thing? Like how can I get that extra 1%? How can I put myself in the position to where there is no excuses, right? If I'm okay with not being the best, I'm okay with being beaten, right? But I will dominate every aspect of my life, because when I step up to the table, I'm going to be 110% of me. I'm going to be better today than I was yesterday, and the only way I can do that is because I'm doing everything that I can yesterday, right? I did everything I could yesterday so that I could be 110% today, right?
So Tanner, we've had just a few minutes left.
Oh, sorry. Yep,
That's
thanks.
all right. I wanted to open up if you guys have any questions. So I had one. At what age?
21.
21. That's what I thought.
Yep.
That's okay.
21, and I'm 22 now.
Yeah. You guys have any questions?
Calm down.
Could you explain how the baseball works?
So yeah. So again, don't be afraid to like offend me or ask a stupid question. I love Q&A. Like at the end of all my talks, I do Q&A, and I appreciate you shutting it down. So, so the ball beeps, right? Stay. So the ball beeps, and that's actually so that the defense can pick it up, right? So they can find it in the field and pick it up. And so if the defense picks it up before the runner gets to the base, away from the body, that's an out. Otherwise, it's a run. So as a batter, the pitcher's on my team, because that would be like shooting fish in a barrel, right? Like throwing me curveballs and stuff. Like that's not cool. And so the pitcher's on my team, and my job is he'll say like ready, set, ball, and he'll give me a cadence, and on that timing, I'll swing. All right, and it's my job to swing in the same spot every single time, and him to know where I'm going to be swinging. So he'll say ready, set, ball. I'll swing it. You know, I'll probably hit it about 2, maybe 3 miles, and then I run to the base, and then when I touch the base before they pick it up, then I score. And I'm very proud to say that I am the greatest hitter of all time. So just put that out there. But great
Is this
question.
an actual ball?
This is an actual ball. This is an actual ball, yeah. And so if you guys want, it's really heavy, right? And so to hit a home run, very few people have ever done it. And blind people, interestingly enough, there's a lot of huge freaking like ogre-like blind people. There's, I mean, these gigantic men. I'm like, oh my God, like, and they're like, how do you hit the ball so far? I'm one of a few people who have ever hit a home run, and you know, Paige, you saw that? You saw that? No, I was just kidding. It's, you know, technique, right? So, you know, putting myself in the right position to succeed. But yeah, so this weighs about 1 pound. Here, you want to check that out?
Yeah, we'll pass it around.
Is your like field set up the same way?
Similarly, we don't have a second base because no one's ever leading off, right? We're not like stealing bases or anything like that. So we have first and third base. They're 100 foot from home plate, and the reason we have first and third base is because you don't know if you're going to first or third. So they have base up. So I forgot to say the bases buzz, right? Bzzz,
Okay.
and then the ball beeps, right? And so, well, like when the pitch is coming, that's when they turn on either first or third base, and then you respond to that after you hit the ball and run 100 foot to the. It's like a 36-inch pylon dummy, right? So it's probably about like that tall, and it's just a pad, and inside of it is the speaker that buzzes. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's.
You want to stop that
express
video?
Our gratitude for
Hey,
coming today.
thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.